Smooth on the map, nigga. What you gonna do when you out? When you wait, don't did, don't do. Really on the move on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your left, don't did, don't do.
Daytona is known for highlights such as the Ponce de Leon Inlet Lighthouse, which is located just south of the city. It's the tallest lighthouse in Florida and the third tallest in the US, and also the location of the Jackie Robinson Ballpark, where Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier during a 1947 exhibition game. Daytona is also known for its fresh, locally caught East Coast seafood like shrimp, tuna and crab. But more importantly, the packed sand of Daytona Beach brought motorsport to the fore as we evolve to what we see now at the Daytona International Speedway for week 3 of 12 of the Apex This Porsche Cup live here on Racing Nexus. Hello everybody, welcoming you back to fantastic Porsche Flat 6 boxer engine power. It's Alex Goldschmidt and Steve Koenig with you up here in the Racing Nexus broadcast booth. And what's more, we are currently underway with timed qualifying. And here is the calendar. We're at the quarter stage of this 12-week calendar. We head to Road Atlanta next week. We then go to the Garden of England for round 5 for Brands Hatch, then to the Glen on round 6. Sebring and Zandvoort round out the 7th and 8th rows of the calendar, with St. Petersburg, Imola, Monza and Spa-Francorchamps bringing everything to a close later on this year. So it's a 4-lap 10-minute time qualifying session, and then it will be a 45-minute flat-out sprint race with a mandatory pit stop, because everyone has a 45% maximum fuel allocation for the fuel tank. Open setup, one fast repair available for all drivers, and the first incident points, if they hit 12, will mean that will be the first time they will get a black flag and serve the trundle of shame down the pit lane, simply known as a drive-through penalty. But this circuit itself really needs no introduction. We'll get onto the track info in just a moment. But in the mid-pack Larrys, it is the Eddie Jordan tribute band of Jack Stadola that leads the way on 39 points ahead of Big Dog Racing's Kent Kruger, who hopefully will have Grello by his side, bringing him a little bit of luck like it did last week. Keegan Gehrig rounds out the top 3 ahead of Sean Teeter, Derek Palmerton, Aaron Sunday, Kenneth Ingersoll, Matt Bond, Chris Laum and Harrison Mealy rounding out the top 10. But it is tied for points at the top end of the going pros, with Kevin Zhu on the benefit of the doubt. He has got 1 podium, Mark Miller has not, but they are tied on 34 points apiece. Defending champion in the going pros, Michael Brock rounds out P3 ahead of Jeremy Littleton, Colin Winslow, Derek Tyndall, Brian Zinn, DJ Alessandrini, who picked up the win last week, Jesse Meir and Matthew Mosley completes the top 10. We have what will be 36 cars fighting their way around the World Centre of Racing, and as you can see, sunset is very much apparent at this legendary location. And it opened back in 1985. The road course measures 3.56 miles, which equals just over 5.7 kilometres. Over the course of its distance, there are 13 turns, which includes the Rodriguez International Board turn 3, the infamous backstretch, which then leads into turns 10 and 11, and the place formerly known as the now known as the Le Mans Chicane. Oval turn bankings will be at 31 degrees, tri-oval 18, back straightaway 2, flatter than a Strutbafel in the Netherlands, but nevertheless, things are looking rather racy here in time qualifying. At the moment, Kevin Zhu, the man from St Kitts and Nevis, is quickest of anybody, 1:44.564. Michael Brock currently is P3 at the moment behind Kurt Moss. But what could I say, Mr. Steve Koenig? Welcome back in at Daytona. It really needs no introduction, does it, buddy? But I had to make one for the folk.
It's an absolute amazing circuit, and also one of the major circuits on the iRacing service at the start of the entire racing calendar, the special events, you always start out heading towards Daytona for the Raw 24 and then the Daytona 24-hour. But being on the calendar for our, well, Apex this, it's going to be an interesting one. And especially since the points are incredibly tight. We've got multiple positions that are tied for position. They're going to be seeing what they can do. And ultimately, it's going to come down to the wire of who is going to stay at the sharp end of the field. With that being said, let's take a look at the grid as we get ready to go racing.
It's time to get ready for 45 minutes here at Daytona. Kevin Zhu and Kurt Moss will be on the front row. Defending champion Michael Brock will be on the inside of row number 2. We'll be joined by 704 Motorsports Colin Winslow on the second row of the grid. Then it's Derek Tyndall and Matt Mosby rounding out row number 3. Brian Zinn and Kenneth Ingersoll round out row 4, with Corey Mitchell and Mark Miller completing your overall top 10. Sean Tita will start on the inside of row 6 alongside Jesse Mir, with Joao Gabriel and John Agudelo rounding out row number 7. Row 8, it's Aaron Sunday from Our House No Drama, the man from LA. He'll be joined by the 181 of Ryan Ryder alongside on row 8. Row 9, Joe Mayer and Alex Ekholm, a new driver that has joined us on the grid for this third week out of 12. Spencer Baudoir from Canada and Christopher Lau round out the top 20. Then we turn the page, go on to row 11 with Kenton Bandy in the number 7 and Brad Parker in the 33. Sean Carew and Tino Rene round out the next row ahead of Keegan Gearing, Roman Bykov, Matt Bond, Harrison Mealy, Paul Bailey, and the man from Hong Kong, Benson Tai, rounds out the top 30. Justin Aitchison, Jake Harrigan, Dylan Foster, Donald Mensing, James Dean round out the grid. Jeremy Littleton unable to make it on the grid. We're waiting for Matt Mosby to join us on the circuit itself for 45 minutes, and we are under nightfall. This is going to be a true test. Headlights ablaze on these cars, producing 520 horsepower from their flat 6 4-litre naturally aspirated engines. 35 cars on the grid, that is going to give you 18,200 horsepower. That is going to be an immense amount of power heading into the tri-oval to start the 45 minutes. But the pace car, the Porsche 911 pace car, leads us through the Le Mans chicane, formerly known as the bus stop, and there has been a little bit of a name swap courtesy of IMSA and the ACO, the Automobile Club de l'Ouest. They decided, well, at Le Mans, let's call the place the bus stop, and let's call the place at Daytona Le Mans. But what can you say about this? Kurt Moss running in a very similar livery to the A-Works by Katana driver that was in action at Porsche Sprint Challenge Suisse this past week at Imola, where it was quite blazing, is Johan Frisch. So that is a livery I do very much recognise, but it is the iRacing Porsche of the man from St Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu, who is gunning to become the leader of this series when we head into week 4 in just 7 days' time at the home of Petit Le Mans Road, Atlanta. It's going to be a little bit of a trundle here down the backstretch. What are you expecting here tonight, Steve?
Well, with the short formation lap and the safety car just moving out of the way, it's going to be all about patience for the start as we go green, 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 and already we have got a problem for Harrigan. Unfortunately, going and landing up with a penalty, but it is going to be Kevin down into turn 1, keeping it all together. Moss trying to hold the inside line as he fights it out against Michael Brook, the two of them brawling it out, all looking reasonably clean through turn 1, turn 2, as the drivers now trying to pick up the pace and see what they can do. Derek Tyndall trying to move up through the order, but it's all about a bit of patience at the start. Try and get yourself into a rhythm and focus on what the race is going to be. We've seen how it can all flip around. Last week was just the case in point of it. You're going and burning off a little bit too much fuel can cost you a huge amount of time, as we already got one car on the road.
From Jesse Mir straight off of the Rodriguez International Horseshoe drama for the 172. That is exactly what you do not need at this early stage of the race. Roman Bykov also has hit drama. Jeremy Littleton hasn't made it on, but Jesse Mir is the first major casualty who went straight on. As here comes Matt Mosby, the TWRS Porsche closing in on the 704 motorsport entry of Colin Winslow. That is the battle for P4 as they bump draft all the way down the back stretch into the bus stop chicane. Bump over the coast, going to be very, very careful. You did see a couple of times in free practice before qualifying got underway, but now not to take it as Aaron Sunday makes a move on Alex Ekholm, who has started tumbling. Oh, has Ekholm hit drama? Yes, he has. He's off the circuit, sideways. And the Mobil 1 Porsche is all the way down into 31st position. Meantime, it's musical chairs for P5 at the moment between Tyndall and Winslow as Kevin Dew, Kurt Moss and Michael Crocker are already into battle. This is going to be side by side. Winslow to the inside of turn 1 of Derek Tyndall, and he's now going to try and put the frighters on Kurt Moss. He's got ahead of Mosby. Mosby diving back up the inside. There's contact. Rodriguez International Horseshoe. Jake Harrigan also with the bits in the 414, the man from Canada who started 32nd on the grid. But Jesse Mia, the biggest man comes in this run and walk with Brian Zinn from Maximum Effort Motorsports. He dives to the inside of Winslow. That's a beautiful late dive by the man from Maximum Effort Motorsports. Teammates with Derek Tyndall, and he's going side by side with his teammate. Winslow looks to the inside. Oh my goodness me. That is just goes to show how quickly things can change on a 6 goes.
Well, let's see if we can find out what happened to Jesse early on in this race and what exactly went a little bit awry. Fortunately, trying to get that little bit of playtime of what happened as he was heading into the kink. A little bit of side by side. He gets caught into third, late on the brakes, and it seems like gets out there. But going and landing up into the dirt and off into the wall, not exactly how you want to kick off your race.
Yeah, so we're now going to take a look here. This is live on the circuit as the field crosses the line to complete lap number 2. Kevin Dew has got a lead of nearly 1.6 seconds over Michael Rock, the man from St. Kitts and Nevis on the absolute tear at the minute. So now Jesse Mia has managed to repair the car, 172. It's all the way down in 34th position. But there is a train of cars as we've got 2 stuck together. Oh dear, that's the return of one. Joao Gabriel. Looks like Donald Mensing. We've had a drama coming out of the open corner.
Not exactly what you want to have, and unfortunately getting caught out there. We'll try and take a look at what happened to John and see what exactly went wrong into turn 1. So got it all together, late on the brakes, trying to swing the car through the tail, starting to get a little bit loose under braking, got on the power and just kissing the wall. Unfortunately, having the grid coming by and just creating a little bit of a traffic jam in the process. Gabriel, thankfully, not getting hit by anyone else, but it's the 640 that unfortunately got caught out and lost a huge amount of time, having to wait for Mr. Gabriel to get going once again. Not exactly what Keegan wanted to have, and now has to try and pick his positions back up. 31st at the moment, started in 25th.
Yeah, so we have got just over 5 minutes completed in this race, and Kevin Dew, oh, well, what has happened with, well, Jake Harrigan in the 414, as I said, has had dramas. It was Keegan Gearig in the 640 that managed to keep out of harm's way. So, again, it's just this case of things do occur. And at the night time of Daytona, you've got a lot to think about. You've got to think about your braking markers. And also, your peripheral vision has to sort of adjust with that. So here we go, battle for position. Corey Mitchell being elbowed out of the way by Sean Teeter coming out of turn 3 at the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. And this is through the kink at 4. Oh my goodness me, that's Teeter off onto the grass. Is he going to stop it in time? He's going to be very careful here. He's going to get a yellow. He's going to get a yellow. Get a slow down penalty. Ground
it seems like it's cost Ryan a little bit of time, as immediately we got John going and trying to capitalize on a move. But what a way to kick off the race. A little bit of a trying to push too hard in the early stages, and unfortunately a couple of drivers starting to feel the pressure, starting to feel that they're losing that little bit of time, and they're going to have to try and figure out what can they do to stay in for the fight, as we do see Corey Mitchell trying to keep on to the side of Ryder down into the chicane, trying to get it all together. An easy run for him. Corey just now having to wait that little bit longer. Ryan Ryder, who is out in the pink pig colours, and gotta say, a lovely throwback to the Porsche 917. And now just trying to keep ahead of Corey Mitchell, who's got John all over the back of him, trying to fight for position in the mid-pack Larrys. And just a little bit further back, Sean Tita trying to hold back Spencer, who dives down the inside and just not quite getting the braking for turn one, but he's going to keep his nose in to ensure the Gulf colours will keep moving forward. A solid bit of effort, and our drivers trying to see what they can do to stay at the sharp end of the field.
So at the moment, the race continuing onwards. We've got just over 37 minutes. The big thing will be the dependence on whether these drivers will have to use the slipstream as much as possible. We have seen cars be going north of 175 miles an hour, especially through the tri-oval here at Daytona International Speedway, where there's an 18-degree angle of banking. It's when they get into the ovals where you might see drivers go to the high and the low side. Oh, there's been a few dramas as well. Brad Parker's dropped off the circuit. Aaron Sunday's lost a few positions. Looks like the 33, Brad Parker, has definitely struck trouble. And there we go. It just can be that one thing, one point, where these drivers, one wrong move, and then it's game over. We can have a look here. Now, this is what happened to Brad Parker in the 33. He's coming out of turn 4, heading into the horseshoe at 5. And he's going to get a little bit of a touch on Aaron Sunday, who's mimicking Patrick Dempsey's Proton competition car, I noticed. Brad Parker has to get out of dodge, does the old UE, and manages to, still needs for him to, but there's been a change. Michael Brock's now in the race lead, as Ryan Ryder going side by side with Corey Mitchell. Well, Michael Brock now is still in P2. I don't know why the live timing decided to show anything out. So, nevertheless, still, Michael Brock needs to make some moves. If he can make that up in the pits, in the pit lane side of things, then that might be to his advantage. We can find out what might happen here. But Derek Tyndall now has the fastest lap of the race. He's closing in on Kurt Moss in the 282. For third position. Kurt Moss running in the Jamaican flag colours. A little bit of a run wide there by Matt Mosby coming out of turn 3 in the number 35. He's got Brian Zinn from Maximum Effort Motorsports right on his case. Colin Winslow down 3 places so far in the opening 10 minutes of this race. And again, many people might be thinking, how do you play the game here at Daytona? Well, you've got to keep your nose clean. At the moment, Kenneth Ingersoll, oh, right. Unfortunately, Aaron Sunday has now got to serve a black flag penalty. Joe Mayer is, I think, might have called time on it. Roman Bykov's been in the pits for about 20-plus seconds. Jesse Mee is still repairing damage. Jake Harrigan looks like he's retired the car. So there has been a lot of activity. But nevertheless, it can be the fact that these drivers are still having to fight their way tooth and nail.
Solid bit of effort at the moment, and immediately, even by us, we've got Mr. Time moving forward, a new car to the grid, trying to move forward, and also going and displaying quite an interesting livery as he wants to go on by. It's going to be Tino Renee, who holds on to the inside line as they make their way around the oval. The two of them door to door trying to push forward, seeing who is going to have the advantage heading into turn 1.
And Derek Tyndall is the first driver to go down underneath 1 minute 45 around the circuit here at Daytona International Speedway. So Derek Tyndall, upper place. Biggest mover of the night so far, Justin Aitchison, up from 31st, now runs 17th. Benson Tai, the man from Hong Kong, now is up from 30th on the grid, now P20. One of the biggest losers tonight, Joao Gabriel, now 26, started 13th. So these Joe Mayer, 16 places lost. Jesse Mia, 22 places lost. So it looks like Mayer, Miga's back in the pits again. Harrigan's out. Littleton didn't even make it to the grid. So at the moment, we still have Donald Mensing, who was the 31st and last running car on the grid. Roman Bykov has got back going again in the Buzz Lightyear to Infinity and Bykov, I might decree there, on the 013, the man who ran in the Coors Light liveried Aston Martin in last season. We hope, thank you very much for everyone's input for the cars being a bit too noisy for the commentary. As here we go, Derek Tyndall to the outside of Kurt Moss, through over the tri-oval, and he's got through for third. No, not quite. Moss and Tyndall go deep into turn one. Tyndall to the outside, Moss to the inside. And can we see a crisscross here attempt from Derek Tyndall? That is going to be the case, that Tyndall has got through for third. Beautiful pass, textbook crisscross, and Tyndall made it stick. Mosby, Zinn, Winslow, Ingersoll, Miller and Ryder ran out the top 10. Ingersoll, the only of the mid-pack Larrys, still running in the top 10 overall here, Steve.
Absolutely great stuff, and we got to see how it's all going to filter out already. Pit stops is going to be starting to get an option as we down to 31 minutes left in this race. Matt Mosby trying to push a little bit harder and see if he can just get that little bit more pace. He knows that a top 3 is on the cards for him, but he's got to get past Kurt Moss and Derek Tyndall ahead of him. But he's got pressure from Brian Zinn, who's trying to catch up to his teammate. Brian can just see the likes of Derek ahead of him, knows that he can try and back him up. The question is, can he get close enough to do it? Kenneth, however, still in that mix, fighting out with the top end, and just needs to go and push himself that little bit harder.
So at the moment, with regards to the top 5 in this race, with 13 minutes and 50 completed, Kevin Zhu leads the way here in round number 3 out of 12, ahead of Michael Brock, the defending Going Pros champion. Derek Tyndall with that beautiful crisscross over Kurt Moss rounds out the top 3. Moss in 4th. Mosby rounds out the top 5. In terms of the mid-pack Larrys, it's Kenneth Ingersoll in the number 69 car that leads the way, and he is ahead of Corey Mitchell in the number 63. Sean Teeter rounds out the top 3 of that class with John Agudelo and Spence, and it's going to be the number 7 of Kenton Bandy who rounds out the top 5. So just coming up to 1/3 of the timer counting down here at Apex this Porsche Cup. We're going to see Tino Rene. How's he going to exit the... Oh no, this is not going to go well. Spins. Oh dear. And he manages to do a good old 360 on the exit of the bus stop. Well held by the number 121. Makes the Jim Carner impersonation of the evening. But Matt Mosby trying to get through on Kurt Moss, the man from Jamaica, in the 282. And this is with now just under 30 minutes on the clock to go. You can see now that Mosby's going to go high, wide and handsome to the outside of Matt Mosby. Could this be the opportunity? Well, could this be that Mosby gets through? And Mosby has made it just by a nose, but...
That's Brian Zinn,
now the
who went to the apron to try and get past him. 3 wide, heading into the chicane. Brian's got the inside advantage. Oh, he gets past, goes and fouls up Matt Mosby, and Kurt Moss losing out 2 places before he even got to the chicane. I mean, this is absolute madness early on.
Yeah, so it can be just the case of how can these drivers nip it in the bud. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but Moss versus Mosby. Brian's in now P4, so this is just this is why the Porsche Cup was introduced here at Apex, to put everyone in the same car, open setup, take away that that meritocracy of one GT4 car leading the way. So now this is going to be nearly 3 wide again, as there is the two. Well, you can just see here Brian Sid sticking his nose in, and he's going to get through. That's a great move he's just done on the 282 of Kurt Moss from Jamaica. Gets through on him, and now he's going to charge after Mosby. He's going to go through on the inside of turn 5. Brian Sid picking them off one by one, and just up ahead you've got Aaron Sunday in the OHND Proton competition. Well, the Proton Dempsey competition livery car. But look at this crisscross attempt by Zinn. It's going to work on Mosby because Mosby is bit boxed in. And look, we're going to go 3 wide. Sunday to the outside, Mosby in the middle, Zinn to the inside line, headlights ablaze. And can Mosby get the outside run down the back stretch heading to the... And look at this, Aaron Sunday decides to switch from low to high. Mosby to the outside into the bus stop. Chicane, and he bumps into the side of Brian Sid, and they're both off.
Not what you want to have, and immediately it's going to be Colin Winslow who's going to come swinging on by. Colin's going to pick up the advantage here and is just giving everything he can. Matt Mosby trying to fight back. Side by side they go. Kurt Moss is going to be more than happy to see the two going and falling off. But Colin Winslow now brought back into the fight. He's trying to push out a little bit harder and see what he can do, but gets fouled up heading into turn 1.
Yeah, and Winslow to the outside. Oh my goodness me. Talk about lighting up a Chinese firework on the start-finish straight. And then everything else happens, but Mosby's had drama. Mosby's gone off, and John Agadello is the latest driver to get a black flag penalty, so he's got to go down into pit lane to serve the trundle of shame, I'm afraid. But again, what a spectacle we've got here, and this race will take us to a quarter of the season being completed. Let's not forget, it is going to be the best 8 scores out of 12 weeks, and that will be put towards the... oh, I have to give a shout out to... I think that was Matt Mosby's livery we saw just then with the Trophy.ai logo on it. Now, one of my good friends, a certain Mr. Daniel Handover, formerly of McLaren, is one of the people behind Trophy.ai, which is sort of like a coaching tool that people do use. But Mosby, he definitely has had his work cut out for him tonight. And now he's got a lot of distance to find between himself and the man who's still leading the mid-pack Larrys, who has been relatively untroubled all night, Kenneth Ingersoll in the number 69. And here we ride on board with Spencer Beaudoin. He's right on the rear of Sean Teeter. You can just, well, Sean Teeter's with pretty much right in front of him in the Asus 117 car. My goodness me, we've got battles all over up and down the shop. It's so difficult to try and keep an eye on what's going on, folks. This is not an easy time for any driver, as sparks fly as Teeter gets out of the way. Beaudoin looking to the inside, gets the side draft in the Golf Porsche, and now they come through the Geico acceleration zone into the tri-oval, and Beaudoin is going to get the advantage heading into turn 1. And Teeter's still going to throw it to the outside. Is he going to get it completed? It's going to be nip and tuck. They're going to be nose to nose coming out of turn 1 and heading into turn 3 at the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. But well done to the man from Canada, Spencer Beaudoin, and the 010, finally getting the move done on Sean Teeter into the International Horseshoe at turn 3.
Well, I've got to say, Teeter trying to pick up the pace after a little bit of a chaotic start for himself, but is slowly but surely making up a bit of time. One person that's just come out of pits, however, John Agudelo, trying to get a little bit more momentum underneath him as he's just been overtaken by Matt Bond, who's on a solid charge right now. Matt hoping to move forward all the way from Palestine, and, well, got to say, livery pretty much tells how he wants to get this race going. He wants to be in front of everyone. He wants to pick up all the pieces of his competition and keep moving forward. John now trying to just get a little bit of heat into those tires after spending a little bit of time in the pits, and will be focusing on a solid charge back up through the field. But now I've got to ask a very good question, because we saw this last week where drivers started having to plan their pit stops very, very closely of what needs to be done. How are they going to move forward? What's going to be the game plan? Where can they really get the advantage on one another? But especially around Daytona, if you go into the pit lane here, it's going to cost you an ample amount of time. Do you go for the undercut? Do you go for the overcut? What is going to be the plan moving forward? And I mean, especially with the competition like what we got with Colin Winslow and Kurt Moss, who are way over each other's bumpers.
Yeah, also, what I'm also interested in, why the heck has Kevin Zhu lost a big amount of time to Michael Brock, because the gap was 1.2 seconds. It's now 4/10 between the 2:43 in the iRacing Porsche. And there is the man repping Mountain Dew Baja Blast, Mr. Michael Brock. The gap was, well, the last lap times they showed around was a 1 minute 44.9 for Michael Brock, a high 1:45.67 for Kevin Zhu. Yeah, it is going to be interesting, and especially if your name is Michael Brock, you've got to be very, very mindful of the fuel strats you've got to employ, because, okay, it is not that long a pit stretch in here, but at least the good thing is it is very much a straight pit line, unlike a lot of other courses that we're going to, including Road Atlanta next week, whereby, you know, you're going to be you're going to have to time it to perfection. You can see they're bumping over the sausage curves through the Le Mans chicane. And on cue, yes, and thank you very much, Jen, for sending me the messages on Discord about obviously trying to get the volumes adjusted. Steve, I have to say, is doing a cracking job, not just doing commentary, but also producing behind the scenes. So big thumbs up to my man from South Africa alongside me in the box tonight. But here we go. The slipstream is coming thick and fast. Zhu to the high side, Brock to the low side. Across the line to complete lap number 13. Michael Brock is just taking his time, being very, very patient as Brian Zinn posts the new fastest lap of the race. As Brian Zinn puts in a 1:44.839, and he was over 7.5 tenths quicker than Colin Winslow. And Zinn to the inside. Joao Gabriel is the latest driver that's going to have a server drive-through penalty. And Brian Zinn getting very, very close to making a move. He's trying to tee up Colin Winslow into an unforced error through turn 4. The fast left-hand kick that leads us into turn 5. Zinn a little bit later on the brakes. And what they do have to watch out for, as Benson Tai, the man from Hong Kong, has gone off the circuit. Big time in the number 53 in the That's All Fine livery. That was a pretty good one. Yeah, let's take a look at this.
See what happened. That was into turn 1, trying to keep it all together. This is not fine anymore, I think, and was able to keep it out of the wall.
And in the meantime, Michael Brock on lap 14 is now the new race leader. He's got through on Kevin Zhu, so this is probably going to give him a bit of bragging rights on being able to keep in front. Jen Brock says, stepped away to throw my cat out of the room after she was harassing the dogs. Well, we know, Jen, that felines and canines never get on well at the best of times. But look at this. Bump drafting ahoy from Colin Winslow on Brian Zinn in the battle for P4 overall. Ken Ingersoll, I have to say, has done an absolutely cracking job in the number 69 mid-pack Larry's car. He is leading the way and is up 2 spots from where he qualified. As now Winslow trying to get the better of Zinn as they come through turns 1 and 2. Then it's the short shoot up to the Rodriguez International Horseshoe here at turn 3. Both very late on the brakes. Nose is on the front of the Porsches. Duck down as they brake significantly with the brake bias. I think probably more to the point being put towards the front end of the cars, as Kurt Moss looks to be one of the first drivers to have pulled the trigger. Kenton Bandy is now in. Benson Tai, Alex Ekholm, they are all now in the pit lane. So with just under 19.5 minutes to go, we're seeing the first drivers coming in. Dylan Foster has also decided to duck into pit lane, whereas Spencer Baudouin closing in on Corey Mitchell, who is running 10th overall, second in mid-pack Larry's. And there you see on the right-hand side of your screens the timing, reference the total pit lane time, and the pit stop time 19.2 seconds for Kenton Bandy. and 57.4, so nearly a minute in pit road. But again, we are just waiting to see, because the top 16, which includes Harrison Mealy, have yet to pit. Justin Aitchison is now one of the biggest movers up the order. So is James Dean. He started all the way down in 35th position. He's now up into 19th. As here we go, leaders starting to come in. Brock, Zhu, Tyndall, Winslow. Zinn has stayed out. Brian Zinn is going for the 3000 IQ long strat, as now we're seeing a whole horde of drivers come in. Mark Miller, Corey Mitchell, Spencer Baudoir. They've all now come into the pit. So is Sean Teeter. I would imagine when we get to Harrison Mealy, that line will continue. Sean Garou now in. Justin Aitchison. Now Christopher Laum's probably going to go in. Keegan Gehrig, I think I've just spotted trundling down into pit lane. Yep, Laum has gone in. What about Mealy? Harrison Mealy is now going to dive into pit lane. So everyone, let's have a look. And Michael Brock has just edged out Kevin Zhu to the run out of pit road. Kurt Moss might help himself a little bit here in terms of battling away with other drivers. But he is still going to find himself behind the number 69, Ken Ingersoll, who has led every single lap in the mid-pack Larry's division so far. So a lot of action still to go, with just 17 minutes and 20 seconds until we hit the checkered flag for week 3 out of 12 for the Apex, this Porsche Cup here on Racer Nexus. Well, someone asked about Roman Bykov. Mr. Lightyear does not seem to be doing very well, as he's going to lose it. Oh, the back end takes a tangle. Oh, and Roman Bykov dives into pit lane, and I haven't seen any movement since. That might be Roman's race. Unfortunately, done and dusted. At least, of course, with 4 drop weeks, maybe he can take this as a duff week and decide, well, I'm not gonna count Daytona towards it. As now Brian Zinn has come into pit lane. Meantime, what has happened to Kevin Zhu? He seems to be having an internet problem at the moment, because he's blinking all over the shop, because Tyndall was showing in front of him. But Kevin Zhu is now 1.4 seconds behind Michael Brock. And at this point, Brian Zinn, how quickly can he get that car out of the pit lane? 13, 14 seconds stationary. Brock across the line. Brian Zinn is now going to have to trundle his way down pit lane as the 421 Mountain Dew Baja Blast car retakes the race lead. Brian Zinn is going to possibly come out in front of, I think, Matt Mosby. Or is it going to be Colin Winslow? No, it's Winslow. Winslow gets through at turn 1 in the 704 Motorsport car. And now Brian Zinn can accelerate out of turn 2 on the exit of pit lane and neatly scarper away into the Rodriguez International Horseshoe at turn 3. And now he has an opportunity. Brian Zinn has got to try and close in on Maximum Effort Motorsports teammate Derek Tyndall if he wants a podium this time around at the World Centre of Racing. 15 minutes, 20 to go. James Dean has just lost it on the outskirts of the turn 3 Horseshoe. Oh dear, it's not gone well for the number 049 tonight, but he's up 6 spots already. Let's have a look at the Racer Nexus replay. And it's going to be turn it in. He's going to be on the loud pedal a bit too early, and around she goes.
And that's similar to what he had in practice as well. Just getting on the loud pedal a little too early, losing a bit of time, and going and costing himself a bit of momentum there. But one person that is having a bit of a problem here, Spencer, trying to move up through the order. He's got Sean Grau ahead of him. Sean currently sitting in 3rd in his class, and he's just trying to keep it all together in the Red Bull livery. He's getting chased down by Spencer, not wanting to get caught out, and not too far behind them. They do have Justin Atchison, who is catching up, making a bit of headroom here. Justin will be aiming for that final spot on the podium, and if Spencer can foul up the likes of Sean, this is going to be an interesting battle down for the lead, for the top 3 of our mid-pack Larrys. But it all looks like Spencer's just keeping it calm. He's trying to figure out whether he can utilize that toe, get pushed along, and a little bit of bump draft just to help him out. You've got to make sure that you're going square up against the rear bumper. You don't want to be too far to the right or the left, otherwise it's just going to be pit maneuvering your competition into the wall.
Yeah, very much the case. It's about keeping your nose clean, dotting the T's, crossing the I's. And still at the moment, Spencer Baudouin trying to get through on the Red Bull liveried number 88 of Sean Garou, who in the GT4 season last time out, basically all I can say, he was channeling his inner Brock Feeney with the ample racing Red Bull livery that we've seen over the years past, that have had the likes of Shane van Gisbergen, Whincup, Jamie Whincup, amongst other people, Craig Lowndes, to name but a few. But Garou a little bit wide coming out of turn 3 at the international, the Rodriguez International Horseshoe, but this is allowing Justin Aitchison, who's up now 17 spots. Can he make it into the top 12? Because if he does that, that is going to be that's going to be 1 spot away from getting 19. Well, they'll be 1 spot away from getting 20 places gained. Of course, the man who made the biggest moves up last week was in the Manti Grello colours, and that was the man from Big Dog Racing, Kent Kruger, one of the admins behind the league here at Apex this. But through the bus stop chicane, still nip and tuck between Garou and Baudouin. Aitchison now coming into play here with these three covered by less than 0.7 of a second. But Matt Mosby has just lost it big time. Matt Mosby out of turn 1, and that has cost him big time. He's not the only one that's dropped down the order. Benson Ty has dropped down to 19th. Dylan Foster seems to be having some internet ping issues of kind. But Matt Mosby had a big Code Brown clean up on aisle 3, and he needs a squeegee blade to mop up the mess he left behind him. Let's have a look at the replay. So it's into turn 1, goes wide, turns it in, back end steps out to the right, and he's spinning around more times than Kylie Minogue.
It looks like he actually jacked up the suspension a little bit as well, just really trying carrying as much momentum in as possible. The body roll kicked in, and that was all she wrote for his little car. Unfortunately, not exactly how you want your race to go, considering he was fighting out towards the top, but that has allowed the rest of the field to go through. Michael Brock, Kevin Zhao, Derek Tyndall all managing to move forward. Brian Zinn up into 4th place at the moment, but our hardest charges thus far is Dylan Foster, up 12 places, as we do see Spencer trying to go around the outside, and that's just allowed Justin to go up on the inside. Spencer, minds out of the way, says, right, you guys are fighting for the top 3 in your class. Time to go, go, go.
And here we go. Side draft engaged for Justin Aitchison on the outside of Corey Mitchell. Is he going to make it through before for the Le Mans chicane? Yes, he does, with absolute 100% self-doubt, self-belief and conviction, and mainly because of the fact that Garou was a sitting duck, and he's become a sitting duck again, because right on his tail is Spencer Baudouin. We've got just over 10 minutes to go up until the checker flag, and we've had a problem. Paul Bailey and Donald Mensing have both gone off the circuit. Oh dear, and Bailey is tumbling like a stone, and the inside line for turn 1 could be very much open here. We're going to have a look at Donald Mensing. Well, he blinks. Does he? Well, there's Donald Mensing, straight on, understeers off the circuit in the chrome silver Monster Energy Ultra liveried car, and that was at the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. That's a bit of a bright livery to have on a 992 Cup car. As Paul Bailey rocking the Cause livery, well, he looked like he had an internet ping there. But more to the point, there's Keegan Gearig in the 640. That's got quite a lot of... it's a bit of a Jackson Pollock, that thing. You know, there's paint splashes here, paint splashes there. But still, we go back to the battle between Baudouin and Garou. Aitchison now is up into P3 in the mid-pack Larry. So it's between... Aitchison and Garou to get the final step on the rostrum, but we are 9 minutes and 20 seconds away from the checkered flag. We are currently about to complete lap number 20 of this race, and Michael Brock is looking to make sure that he's back to winning ways here at Victory Lane at Daytona, but there is still plenty of chapters left to run in this 3rd out of 12 weeks And I was really excited when I got the news from Racing X's head honcho, Mr. Rob Campbell, that Apex this would be going Porsche mad. I was happier than a kid in a sweet shop, let me tell you that much. But Guru starting to close on in. Here comes the slipstream. It's engaged. It's shake and bake for Sean Guru. He's got the open door because Aitchison has pulled to the left-hand side. Through the tri-oval they go. Guru's going to get the side draft. He's even getting bump draft assisted by Spencer Baudoin. And Guru is back through to 12th position, which is more importantly, 3rd place in the mid-pack Larrys. And all that hard work that Justin Aitchison has done so far, he needs to have another strike at it once again to see if he can get through for that 3rd spot in the mid-pack Larrys by the end of the race at the checkered flag.
I just want to inquire, is Spencer just having a bit of fun here? Because he's essentially moving the chess pieces. He can go and give an advantage to whichever side is in front of him. He's able to go, right, Justin, I think you can have a go now. Well, maybe let's go and allow Sean to have a movement forward. Just giving them a little bit of a bump draft, but they're trying to get past. It's going to be Jeremy Littleton just ahead of them that they're going to have to navigate their way around, as once again back onto the oval, trying to push as hard as they can. I mean, this is turning into a monstrous fight for position. While it's a little bit open up towards the top, well, I'll say that. Take a look. Kevin starting to close up the distance to Michael Brock. Michael not going and legging it away like he had at the early stages of this race. Now starting to get swallowed back into the fight. But Spencer, once again, keeping the pressure on to the back of Justin. Going to give him a little bit of a bump draft. And same as what we saw last lap, he's able to try and move Justin a little bit closer to Sean heading towards turn 1. It's always those little moments where you start trying to ask for backup. It's those little moments you say, right, can you give me a hand here? I need to try and close up the distance.
One of the big things is that we've got a lot of cars actually still on the lead lap. So back marker traffic to get that slipstream assist is going to be minimal at best here at Daytona. And looking at it this way, when our leader is running a mid 145.5, and then you look down the order to João Gabriel, well, let's have a look at João Gabriel, the man from Brazil, Porsche Carrera Cup. That's not what you want to do. That's another, well, I'm going to use a German vernacular. His popometer was in overdrive, which basically means it's the seat of your pants. So just a German vernacular. That's the inner European of me coming out. But here we go. Harrison Mealy getting his elbows out here along with Benson Tai, the man from Hong Kong. And Mealy to the outside in that all stealth black 017. This is fine, says Benson Tai in his livery. I love the fact of how many people can get so creative on iRacing. And Benson Tai bringing, I think, one of the best sort of like caricature-esque style liveries that also refers to a modern day cartoon. I think that's something from SpongeBob SquarePants, if I remember, if memory does not escape me here, Steve.
I can't put my finger on it, to be honest, but what I can put my finger on is Michael Brock fighting against Kevin at the moment. Remember we talked about the gap being about a second? Well, it dropped down to 0.5 as now Michael Brock is trying to navigate through the traffic and Kevin's starting to utilize it, starting to close the distance. With 5 minutes left, it's now make or break to move out for the championship and who can move forward at this stage of the game. As that's not the only fight at the top. Justin Aitchison now trying to have a go inside of Sean, couldn't quite get it done. Spencer trying to move forward. We have got little breakout battles up and down through the field as we're heading into the final 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Everyone just trying to find their feet, trying to find what can they do to maximize the points, and especially with the championship being so tight in the top 10, it's all about maximizing your points early on. You did talk about those drop rounds, but you really don't want Daytona to be that drop round as Benson around the outside outbreaks himself into turn 1, loses out that little bit of run, and immediately Tino, who went and flashed his lights a lap earlier saying, listen, I'm not going to get involved in your fight, suddenly finds himself up a position and on his way back towards the shop. I mean, this is the driver that started in 24th. He's in 19th now. He also spun the car out earlier and fell down.
Yeah, and in reference to the "this is fine," it is a SpongeBob meme, and it's basically the original "this is fine" comic features a dog sitting in a burning room. The SpongeBob versions use a scene from the Krusty Krab where the grill catches fire. Right, Kurt Moss, we've got an eye on with regards to the replay there for a brief moment, but with 3.5 minutes left to go. Here at Daytona, the World Centre of Racing, Kurt Moss is in the pit, so maybe if his internet ping was too high, then the server will kick him out of the server directly into pit lane. Sean Garou, once again, on the back, bump drafting behind. And this is at 100, look at this, 290 kilometers an hour, I think I spotted on the speedo. And through the speed trap, Spencer Beaudoin and Sean Garou were measured at 186.9 miles an hour. Justin Aitchison, 191 miles per hour. So these 4-litre flat six boxer engines are being pushed towards detonation central here at Daytona. But still, Michael Brock has now started to swing the pendulum his way in terms of the lead of this race. He is now 1.1 seconds ahead of Kevin Zhu. Derek Tyndall rounds out the top three, ahead of Brian Zinn and Colin Winslow, who complete the overall top five. Kenneth Ingersoll still leading the mid-pack Larrys, is P6 at the minute. So it can be the case that some of these drivers, with 2 minutes to go, Michael Brock is now putting us onto the penultimate lap, lap 25 out of 26. So Michael Brock has got just over 7.1 miles, make that 7.12 miles, that he needs to negotiate, and he needs to keep Kevin Zhu at bay. And we know what Kevin Zhu is like with his previous track record here on Apex this. If there is a sniff of an opportunity of a victory, he is going to put everything on the line that he can. But as you rightly said, Steve, earlier on in the broadcast, that sometimes you do not want Daytona to be your duff round. But here we go. Sean Giroux versus Justin Aitchison, round into turn one. The 88 Red Bull car is going to get through just by a whisker to the outside. Giroux gets through and denies Aitchison with just this and one more lap to go of a potential run to the podium. And Beaudoin is still there, mixing it up with the mid-pack Larry chess pieces.
And he can give the advantage where it needs to be. Michael pushing hard, but take a look. Mealy landing up with a black flag penalty, return to pits. Unfortunately, on the last lap, going and fouling himself up. But it is Michael Brook who's pushing that little bit harder. 40 seconds to go. Might be able to get one lap out of this, but Kevin trying to close up, just doing everything he can. Michael actually can't get his foot off the throttle right now, and it looks like he may give just one more lap in this race. Otherwise, Kevin would have been all over the back of him. So we're now on to the final lap, and it's a big push for everyone. Kevin's now into second. Derek Tyndall holds on to third. Brian Zinn holds on to fourth with Colin Winslow going and chasing him down. Our mid-pack Larry's trying to give it everything they can as well, with Kenneth, who has been undefeated thus far. From starting in first of his class, he continues to stay ahead of everyone and continues to go and fight it out. I mean, he's in the top 10 and has just kept himself consistent all the way through the race. But it's going to be an interesting one for third place, because Spencer can make or break it.
Yeah, so Kenneth Ingersoll taking a leaf out of the playbook of Zach Peterson. And more to the point, Benson Ty has got a black flag penalty, so he's got to serve a drive-through. Otherwise, if he does not serve it by the end of this race, it's an automatic 35-second time penalty that will be added on to his race distance, as Matt Bond in the number 119 is also getting a black flag, as Sean Garou a little bit sideways, as was Justin Aitchison, coming out of turn 3 at the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. Now they've got a car just up in front, which is Matt Bond, I believe, in the Rexy-style Jaws livery. and he keeps out of the way. So good work by him. Harrison Mealy in to serve his black flag penalty, which is a drive-through. We've hit 0 on the timer, and we are not that far from the final few corners of this race. Michael Brock is on course with a 2-second advantage. He is going to take the W here at the World Centre of Racing. Michael Brock back to winning ways here at the World Centre of Racing. He wins round 3 out of 12. He's going to take the checkered ahead of Kevin Zhu. Derek Tyndall will round out the top 3 ahead of Brian Zinn and Colin Winslow, who complete the overall top 5. And then it's going to be a certain Ken Ingersoll. Lights out to checkered flag, will win in the mid-pack Larry's division, taking P6. Mosby and Ryder to the line. It's going to be Mosby. Mosby by a whisker. Ryan Ryder in P8. Mark Miller is going to take 9th position. Corey Mitchell in 10th, but then look behind. It's going to be a flat-out run to the line. Oh, here goes Aitchison. He's trying to go to the outside of Sean Guru. Guru, is he going to get it? It's nip and tuck. It is Aitchison. Aitchison by 2/100ths of a second gets it across the line. Baudouin just behind them in 13th, with Sean Teeter, Kendon Bandy rounding out the overall top 15. But how about snatching candy from a baby? Justin Aitchison denies Sean Guru the final step of the rostrum here at Daytona. My goodness. The nighttime never disappoints here at the World Centre of Racing, as we have a few more drivers yet to cross the line. Dylan Foster going to be one of them. Alex Ekholm, and also with that Keegan Gierig. And there is the 818 Dylan Foster. He's got the 8 of Alex Ekholm, and they have come across the line. We've got another couple of drivers, I think Parker and Mayer are due to cross the line. But what can you say about this one? And yep, as we say, new timing tower graphics. And when it is the checkered flag, we don't have the checkered flag. We have the fireworks. But what can you say about that 3rd week out of 12? And if that is the standard of racing that we're going to be having, close quarter battles all race long, expect this to be one of the tightest competitive seasons in Apex this racing history. Okay, now with that in mind, we have got a couple of drivers that are ready to have a chat. And you know what? I'm going to bring this man in, the defending Going Pros champion, Michael Brock. You had to fight Mr. Zhu against all things, all and sundry, but you got the win here at the World Centre of Racing for week 3. How are you feeling, first of all, buddy?
Relieved that I'm done racing at Daytona. I do not love this track. Yeah.
I think we've everyone's had their fair share of fill of it since the iRacing 24 earlier on this year, and now it's sort of like Daytona comes along. It's like you get some people go like yay, and then you get some people go like may. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like half of it's kind of boring a little bit to race, a little bit like you have to drive fast. I think racing can be good because there's drafting, but the bus stop, I don't know, I'm really inconsistent at it. So if I was better at it, I'd probably like the track more. In the infield, besides turn 1, the rest of the corners are more or less pretty easy. So a turn 1 and the bus stop is like the entire lap, and then everything else is kind of like, like on cruise control a little bit. So that's just kind of how it feels. Yeah. So you're just kind of like, I'm just waiting all track for this bus stop, where you just have to be so perfect. But no, it was a good race though. Kevin, him and I were like on the same pace basically. So hats off to him and everyone else.
Yeah, and that now makes it your 2nd win out of the first 3 weeks of this Porsche Cup Apex this season. To be honest with you, I mean, as much as I loved the GT4s for the last couple of the last couple of seasons, I will be honest, but to have everyone in the same machinery, open setup, it provides a bit more of an even playing field, because obviously there was a lot of discussion last season which I think we all have to be honest was a Porsche meritocracy, and then they went, yeah, Porsche Cup open setup. It's made a big difference to the way the series is running now, and there's some great battles out there too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it simplifies things on that, right? You know, you're not like ending the race and you're like, oh man, it's the Porsche or the Mustang or the whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's on an even playing field. We're even saving. A bunch of us are saving setups too, so even on that level. But yeah, no, I agree. The only difference I think they are definitely faster, more aero, and they don't draft nearly as much. You got to be really close for you to really, even like if you're a second away, you like kind of just barely start feeling a draft, even at Daytona, which is interesting. But yeah, it's a fun car to drive. It has some quirks to it, but the tires feel really, really great.
Good stuff. Well, let's have a quick chat about next week, shall we, Mike? Road
Yeah.
Atlanta, absolute classic. It should be a belter there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, look forward to that one. And yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good night. And I just want to do a shout out to everyone at Apex this and my lovely wife Jen.
Yes, indeed. And give our best regards to son Jason as well whilst you're at it, buddy.
Absolutely. All right, take care, guys.
Brilliant. Well, Michael Brock, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see him next week for week 4 at Road Atlanta. We're now going to bring in the man from St. Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu. Good evening.
Hey guys.
Well, that was a bit of a dogfight between you and Mike in the until we saw the lead come down. I mean, you were really controlling things before we got to, like, say, the pit stop phase, Kevin. But things started, the pendulum started swinging Michael's way, like it did for quite a time last season. But still, it's great to have you finally in the Race and X's broadcast booth post race to have a chat. So, how do you feel the race went from your perspective? Because you stuck it on pole. You got the jump on everybody, and then it kind of went, yeah, it was going well, but still, at the end of it, to finish P2 to the defending Going Pros champion, it's nothing to be sniffed at, let's be honest.
For sure, yeah, I definitely feel good about my race. As you said, I think you called it pretty good. Michael and I have been racing together for a bit now, and I felt like he's always had the bit stronger mid-race, and he was just able to pull away and make up some more position for the pit stop that I just wasn't able to reel back by the end of the race. But yeah, it was intense and close racing the whole way through.
And it makes it a very, very tight top of the standings going into Road Atlanta next week, let's be honest.
For sure, yeah, can't wait.
Well, I know it's going to be a quick conversation. I hope this is not the last time we speak to you in the Race and X's Global Broadcast Centre here, Kevin. But before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to in particular?
No, I honestly wasn't expecting to be here, so yeah, thank you guys.
Brilliant. Well, Kevin, congratulations on the P2 finish, and we'll see you next week at Road Atlanta for week 4. Well done tonight.
All right, thank you, boys.
Okay, well, he has mentioned this in the Discord, and I'm going to bring this man in. Finally, it is redemption. Derek Tyndall, welcome to the podium. Congratulations, buddy. Well done.
Oh yeah, I already got the victory beer. It was right next to me.
Ready to take a big old swig after a testing race here at Daytona, but still, you were definitely not having it easy out there, were you?
Well, it's the huge gap between 2K to 3K and then to 4K. It's like I already had a feeling like I'm not gonna probably keep up with them that well, but I'm shocked I'm even up towards the front of the podium, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some flashes of brilliance from you in the previous season when we were running the GT4s, but how has it been sort of, we're now a quarter of the way through this first season under the Porsche Cup cars. What's been the biggest thing that you've had to sort of change in terms of your driving style to accommodate a car that's got a lot more, a bit more aero, It's a bit more savage. It's rear engine, rear wheel drive. There's a lot to learn, especially when you haven't got time between much time between seasons to get to grips with it.
I'd probably narrow it down more to just the usage of how maximum effort we typically use prototype a lot. So this car feels pretty, and even though it's not even in the prototype realm, it feels very similar to the GT3, like letting the car swing its full momentum. And I've always liked the Porsche Cup car way more than the GT4s. I like the GT4s, but they're just a little boaty for me. Versus this, I feel like I can hammer down a lot faster on the car. Plus, it's just the racing so much closer.
Yeah, we have seen that in terms of, I mean, especially qualifying sessions are getting a lot closer now as well here on Tuesday nights. But nevertheless, a P3, and that's going to help you in terms of the standings because coming into this after having 2 rounds at the Nürburgring and VIR, you know, 6 in the standings. This is probably going to help put you ahead maybe of Colin Winslow, who was just ahead of you in the standings by 2 points.
I
Puts
didn't
you
run
in a
out of
good frame
fuel
of
either.
mind. Hmm?
Didn't run out of fuel either, like VIR.
Oh yes. Well, you're glad I forgot that. That's the thing. When you race drivers run out of fuel, it's like one of these. It's one
The
of these
walk of
sort of like
shame.
new. Well, it's not a walk of shame. It's like a noose being hung around your neck quite loosely before it gets instantly tightened, like the Homer Simpson Bart hand grip in the you know when it goes, "Why you little?" You know, you hear Bart joking all of a sudden.
No,
But still, it's always a nice feeling when you get onto that podium, isn't it?
no, this felt really good to actually land in a podium finally because I've landed a podium one time in an endurance race we did at Indy, but it was like maybe 10 people, nothing too intense. So it felt good to finally be competitive out there once. But I know that the stepping stone from here to the 4K range is an extreme step that I'm still trying to get down. So I've kind of committed myself to pretty much only do IMSA because that's our main series, and then to only do Porsche Cup. I just need to lock down this car. So I did at least like a couple of races of Fuji to really get the car down some more.
Brilliant. Well, Derek, congratulations on your P3 tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to in particular?
Just a good old team. It'd be Sean, Donald, and Zin. That's the maximum effort team. It's just a bunch of gaggle of boneheads doing what we do best.
Indeed. Well, Derek, congratulations, buddy. We'll see you next week at Road Atlanta for week 4.
Adios. I'll be there.
Well, that rounds up our top 3 interview here at the Racer Nexus Global Broadcast Centre. And that is, as they say, is that. Here are your race results. Michael Brock leading 11 of the laps in total, which were, I think it was 27 we ended up with at the checkered, finishing 3.3 seconds ahead of Kevin Shue, with Derek Tyndall from Maximum Effort Motorsports finishing ahead of teammate Brian Zinn by next to nothing, about 3 and a bit seconds. Nevertheless, Colin Winslow, Matt Mosby having a cracker of a race until Mosby got it all crossed up and went sideways, let's say, in the number 35. Ryan Ryder, Mark Miller, Spencer Beaudoin, and Alex Ekholm on debut round out the top 10. Kurt Moss ending up 3 laps down. Roman Bykov, Jesse Meir, Joe Mayer, and Jeremy Littleton not having the race they would want to remember. And then we head over to the mid-pack Larrys. Kenneth Ingersoll taking the win ahead of Corey Mitchell and Justin Aitchison, nipping Sean Guru by, get this, 13 thousandths of a second in adjusted time on iRacing. Sean Teeter rounds out the top 5 ahead of Kenton Bandy, Christopher Alarm, Tino Rene, John Agudelo, and Dylan Foster rounding out the top 10. Keegan Gehrig, Benson Ty, Donald Mensing, Paul Bailey, James Dean, and Harrison Mealy rounding out the top 16 in there. Well, Mr. Koenig, Daytona always delivers, doesn't it, my friend? There you see the list of the upcoming shows here on Race and Nexus. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also make sure that notification bell is active. At the moment, also Throttle Freaks GT3 is underway. This coming Thursday at 9:30 Eastern, we head to the WEC Freedom Motorsport Alliance next round. And then on Sunday nights, it's Freedom Motorsport Gen 4, and Apex this returns with Mazda Cup. We will see you same place, same time in just 7 days here on the Apex this Porsche Cup. And that will be on July the 7th as we head to Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, the home of Petit Le Mans. This stream has been powered by Apex Sim Racing, track cams for gourmets, trackcams22.com, Apex this, and Racer Nexus. You've been in the company of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Steve Koenig. Until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, like here at Daytona, you better put the pedal to the metal. We'll see you next time.